Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Hi, Heart Me Wise. Hi, Gail. Okay. So, listen, we had a really good day today, but I don't plan things. Some people plan things a long time in advance. I don't do that. Kind of, if I absolutely have to plan something, I'll plan it, but other than that, it's like fly by the seat of our pants. So we had talked about this hike. And so my daughter's here, like I said, for over a week. And the one day she had to work from home remotely was today. So she had to work till 5. And during that time, we're all still there, telling the kids. Luke had a driving lesson. So I said, it's a great day to go sailing. But we were all still visiting. She could, just up in between. And I had to take care of some stuff for Ethan's college, and then I had some phone calls with some friends and stuff like that. And so we're getting to I'm like 3:30. I'm like, well, you know what? Gia should come with us. So I called Gia, and she said, oh, yeah, but can you wait till 6 o'clock till Michael gets home? I'm like, yeah, we can do that, because this is supposed to be like a relatively short hike. My nephew and his wife took it. And let me make sure that I want to make sure that I'm in the right live, because I'm like paranoid with that now. I am. Okay, good. And let me just make sure you can hear me. Okay, yeah. Okay. So we haven't, my son just got back from Quebec City and Toronto yesterday, Sunday night. So I said, they haven't seen Ethan's truck. So I said, let's go down in your truck, Ethan. This will be fun. So we all load into Ethan's truck, and we go downtown. They were down 7 miles. They live in the valley. And call Gia. Gia, we're here. Oh, Michael's not here yet. She goes, why don't you go there? And I said, well, you've been to this waterfall? Yeah. She goes, it's a little tricky. I said, what do you mean it's a little tricky? She's a little tricky when you go in, and she's like, I can't really explain it. And then my daughter's like, Mom, did you not look up the route? And I'm like, I did, and I gave it to Jimmy. Anyway, so Jimmy's giving us the directions to this. And we get to this road, but I'm like, Jimmy, this doesn't look like this state land. This looks strange. And he's like, well, just park. There's a little cutout to park. So we start walking down this road into the woods. And maybe about a half a mile down this road, you can start to hear some water, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, we're going the right way. This is the right way. And then Jimmy, and I have videos that I can show you that will be put up, but I'll give you one glimpse of where they went down, okay? I'll give you one short glimpse. Let me see. Let me see. Let me get into this one. Yes. And I'm sorry if you're new here. My name is Carolyn. It is Mommy Ramblings, and I am going to be talking about Donna Adelson. I'm just giving a recap of this, and it's going to be really brief while we're waiting for everyone to get in here. Okay. So let's see. One of Loki. It's over here. Okay, so this is when they were getting down there. Hold on. Where did I just put you? they started going down off the side of the road. They said they were just going to see what it was like there. And Jimmy, well, it's a big long story, ended up putting, so my daughter's going like, I don't think that's safe, like, and I'm like, well, we'll walk, because I know there's a way to get to this waterfall the other way, right? So, so these adventurous men went this way. So Alexandra and I go on our merry way, and we're walking down that road. I can't believe how long we must have been walking, because I will tell you, we walked at least 3 miles. And when we walked 3 miles, we got to like another little parking area, and believe it or not, a van came down there, and out of this van came, there's a sect of very Orthodox Jewish people, they're called Hasidic, and 8 of that family jumped out, and one of the girls came right up to us and she said, do you know where the waterfall is? And my daughter and I were like, no, we don't know where it is. And they said, oh gosh, because you guys look like you're really seasoned hikers and you're here a lot. And we said, yeah, I know. Unfortunately, I said, my husband and my 2 sons went that way, and we're kind of trying to circle around and look for them. And then, I don't know why, okay, but there was a huge board like they have at the state parks, right, with a map on it. And like, I think her husband and like 5 sons were over there. And I looked towards my right, and it looked like a trail, but it had a big gate on it. So I said, well, that can't be the way to the waterfall. And then to the left, like straight to the left, there was another trail. My daughter said, well, that has trailheads on it, so it's a trail. So we end up walking like another half a mile, maybe 3/4 of a mile down there, until my daughter says the trail ends. And it had like 3 boulders. And I said, what do you mean the trail ends? Because I'm still thinking that, no, I'm going to forge ahead. We're going to find this, right? So I said, I think we can go past those boulders. So we're going like past them. Then she's like, Mom, we've got to turn around. So we start to turn around, okay? And then we walk up like a half a mile. Well, down comes this big car. Now, my son Michael got a new car in the summer, and he was outside the subway for getting lunch, right? And somebody backed into him. Thank goodness he saw it. And so his car had to go in for repair. So he was in a rental, but I didn't even know what his rental was. It was like an Envoy XL kind of, but it was, it's the new name. I used to have an Envoy XL, but it looked like my Envoy. And he said, yeah, it is, Mom, but it's called this now. I forget what the heck it is called. So somebody's coming down, and I'm like, who the heck is this? And I'm stopping them to tell them, like, the road ends, buddy. You're not going anywhere, And my daughter's like, that's Gia, because Gia's getting out. And oh my gosh, it was so funny, because if you knew Gia, you would know what I'm telling you. So she wants to be like, now she wants to be like, really like, what? Like, very, like, but everybody that knows Gia laughs like crazy, okay? She just laughs, and she makes everybody laugh. But when she wants to act all concerned, it's almost funny. She jumps out of the car, and she's like, what? Carlin, what are you doing? Why didn't you go by the parking space? I told you, like, and she's trying to gap. And I'm like, Gia, it's so funny, because you're trying to look at me. And then she just cracks up. She just cracks up and just starts laughing And then we all start laughing. And I said, did you guys, and then my son jumps out, Roman's in the car. I said, did you see Jimmy and the boys? He's like, yes, they're down at the waterfall. They went down this ravine. And I said, you've been here? He goes, yeah, Mom, we park over there and you go that way. He's like, all of the Jewish people are all there. They're really nice. And I'm like, really? They're already there? He's like, yeah, they're already there. They said they saw you. Okay. So then he's like, get in the car. He goes, I can't believe the two of you walked all this way. This is like over 3 miles. So, like, I don't know. It didn't seem that much, right? So he brings us back to the parking space. And literally, from where we met all those people, my daughter and I thought there was something wrong. She said, Mom, why aren't those people behind us if this is the way to the waterfall? But I was like, maybe they're just slow and the guy's reading the map and they're taking their time. I don't know. But ends up, so then Jimmy and the boys came back and they said, yeah, you got to come down to the waterfall. So we went down, and then it's like a little bit hairy getting down there. You get like, it's a little bit steep, but you can get down there, if you're pretty agile, you can get down there. So we all get down there, and then we met our friends down there again. Oh, before that, then another truck comes barreling down. And I said, the road is closed there because my son, and he said, but where's the waterfall? And I said, it's this way. And so they came with us, and they were from Pittsburgh. Very nice. So we had a really nice group of people. And then the Jewish people were leaving. I said, where are you guys from? And they said, Brooklyn. I said, oh, my daughter lives in Brooklyn. And then they talked, and they said, we're here, in Woodburn right now. And they said, there's nothing like this in Brooklyn. And we're glad we saw it. My husband's saying, I'm glad you didn't get your clothes dirty, because he told them that it's a little bit steep. You might get your clothes dirty, but he's like, you guys did really good. Then the people from Pittsburgh, we switched phones. They took a really nice family picture of all of us. We took a family picture of them. I've got some videos and stuff, like I said, I'll put up. But we had a really fun time. It was funny. And then when we were driving up, because I said, you knew that was Ethan's truck? And Gia says, yeah. She says, I said, that's probably Ethan's truck. They're here. But because we were parked way up. Thank goodness my son brought the car. And so he drove us up the road. I couldn't believe. I said, Alexander, it didn't seem like that much going down. You're so excited to get to the waterfall, whatever. But it was beautiful. It really was. I will, if you look at let me show you, I'll just show you a quick glimpse of my Instagram, and then we will get to Donna Adelson. And I'm sorry if you're new here, but the channel is Mommy Ramblings. Oh, and I have to read you a very funny comment, okay? A very funny comment from somebody from back in the day who came back and hold on a second, let me see here. I don't know why I'm stopping and going. And there's Jimmy. That's Jimmy and I. And then I have a bunch of family pictures, a bunch of pictures with the kids. Very nice. Okay, Luke took that picture. Anyway, so it was a really nice time. But I'll get all that stuff up. Plus, I had pictures in the city of Jimmy's got, and videos to put up. I've got a lot of stuff to put up. Then we're going to have a new series. If you haven't seen our community post, we're having a new members only series. It's going to start with the trial, and then it's going to go through everything that led up to that, and then things about the harassment we faced on the platform, all kinds of stuff like that for members only. And then it's going to culminate when it's over. We're going to have a live Q&A question and answer about everything like that we've covered. So it's going to be really, really good. So if you're not a member, you don't want to miss it, you can join the membership, and we have very affordable prices, and it's a great way to support the channel. And for our channel members, thank you for your support, and you're going to get this exclusive content. So great. Now we're going to talk about the Adelsons as soon as I can get back here. You have a blank screen? You have a blank screen? Oh, Heartmade Y is saying it's not blank. Let me see. No, it's not blank, Gail. I'm seeing it here. Yeah. I don't know why they did that to you. Okay, good. So let's talk about Donna Adelson for everybody. Oh, before we do that, I wanted to, oh boy, I'm probably not going to find that comment now because she put that on an old video, and then I just, let me see if I can, anyway, I'll give you the gist of what she said. She said, a long time ago when you were covering the Watts case, she said, I came to one of your lives, and she said, and in the beginning you were saying hello to people and everything, and she goes, I made a comment about how, why do you have to say hello to everybody? And, this is taking a lot of time. And she says, and you told me, well, the channel's name is Mommy Ramblings, and this is probably not the channel for you if you don't like that, because I talk and I interact with the community. So she says, and Carolyn, and since that time, she goes, I'm realizing now that as I'm going through this, that was probably close to 10 years ago, she said. And I've gotten into so many live streams, and I love that. And I know where the interaction comes from. And I thought back to you many times and what you told me. And she goes, and then there was the case in Australia. You remember that one about the girl with the doll, the guy with the dolls that kidnapped that girl? Well, she went back to a video on that because she was looking into that case, and then she couldn't remember. She wanted to know what happened. She said, I did a search and your video came up. And she goes, and when I tuned in, I said, oh my gosh, this is that lady, Mommy Ramblings, she goes, and as soon as I heard your voice again, she goes, I don't know, like she got like the warm fuzzies. And she said, and I thought, oh, wow, I've made my way back again. And she said, so I want you to know I resubbed, and I hit the notifications, and I'll be back, and thank you. And, I'm glad you didn't change. And, she's sorry for what she said, and she realizes how much she likes that. Anyway, yeah, so that was a nice comment. Okay, hello, Bink. Hello, Hart. Hello, Gail. Hi, everybody who's here. Yeah. And we are going to talk about Video Reel and Captain Lee Fan. And I'm in Linda, and I'm in Top Chat. Don't know why. Okay, let's see. White Angel. So yeah, so you know a little bit about what I did today. Okay, so Donna Adelson. If you are familiar with the Donna Adelson case, put a 8 in the chat. I found out today, Elle came into Zoom and said she didn't know that case. But I'm sure she's not alone. There may be many people that don't know that case and don't know it from the start. And so if you're very familiar with the case, put an 8. And if you're only a little bit familiar with the case, put a 4. And if you know nothing about the case, put a 0. So we have 2 8s going in. 2 8s. 8 is great. So Dan Markel was a Florida law professor in Tallahassee. And at one point he was married to Wendy Adelson. Wendy is the daughter of Harvey and Donna Adelson from South Florida. Harvey, dentist. Wendy, a lawyer. Their other son, Robert, a doctor. Their other son, Charlie, a dentist. Sounds like a great family, right? 3 children, 3 professionals, a lawyer, a dentist, a doctor. Sounds like a dream, right? Donna appeared on the Wheel of Fortune, I believe it was in 1984 or 86, 84. Sounds great, right? Well, not everything is great. They're estranged from their oldest son, and that's because he wanted to marry someone they didn't want him to marry. That's a story of itself. He lives up by me, up by the Albany area, and he is totally estranged from them. Charlie was probably so tight with his mama, right? So tight with his mama that they planned a murder together. And when Donna thought Wendy was marrying this up-and-coming lawyer, and she wanted him to go to some really prestigious law firm and practice somewhere out. Hi, Debbie. You're laughing so hard? Why? So she said, I really hope, that he's going to be in this really prestigious law firm. That's what she saw for her daughter. And Dan didn't want this prestigious law firm. He wanted to be a professor. And that was kind of like the first thing, because it was like, wait a minute. She married you because this was what was going to happen. Now you're just going to be a lowly law professor? Oh my gosh, It was such a letdown to Donna. And the marriage wasn't doing well. And do you know that Wendy actually moved out while he was on a conference? Moved everything out. And Wendy wanted to move to South Florida. And Mama wanted Wendy to move to South Florida. And she went through a lot of different scenarios. They even offered at one point, could they pay him off so that he would just let the children come to South Florida. Now, Wendy's husband, Dan Markel, was more conservative in his religion, more orthodox. And his religion was very, very important to him. So in order to needle him, Donna suggested that Wendy does things like tells him she is going to bring the kids to a Catholic church and get them baptized and take a picture outside the Catholic church. These are things that Donna actually told her to do that to Jibbers. The bribery of giving him money to let her sunshines. They were her sunshines. That's how she referred to them. Don't take my sunshines away. The children. The 2 boys. Okay? And when all else failed, and Jibbers, as she called him, was still going to keep fighting for his children, because he wanted a life with his children, and he wanted his children in Tallahassee, and he didn't want his children in South Florida, and he didn't want to move to South Florida himself. He didn't want to give up his career that he loved, even though it wasn't as prestigious as Donna would like it. He liked it. Donna can't stand Tallahassee. Wendy as well. Now, Wendy at one time also wrote a book which featured some questionable subject in there, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. So, what was Donna going to do? She tried some of the stuff that her mother told her. Her mother, was very domineering. Donna, the domineering Donna, telling her what you're going to do. Listen, you're going to do this. This is what you got to do. Okay. And let me just see if I can even pull up one of Donna's emails here, because in case you just think I'm embellishing this story, let me just see if I can pull up one of these. Let's see. Here, I've got some. Okay, so here's some. Let's see what we got here. A couple little excerpts. All right, so here's one. Okay, listen to this one. This was from Donna Harvey. That was their email. People that always seems like they, and it's funny because like people that say, "Oh, my husband and I have to have the same Facebook page, or we have to have the same email." It screams trust issues. It just does. I'm sorry if I'm talking to someone that has that. It screams trust issues. It's funny that they had an email, Donna Harvey. Isn't that funny? At Gmail, but it was in her name, Donna Adelson. That was it. Okay, this was February 18th of 2014, and it was to Wendy Adelson. And it said, information for your lawyer when it comes to the deposition on Danny. And it said, honey, okay, your attorney must depo Elvis to see if any of the retirement accounts that Elvis has ever had a check written from them during the course of your marriage, if any of them were funded through any joint assets, your mutual swab account, or in any way passed through your joint financial accounts, then you're entitled to a portion of those accounts. Even if nothing was ever done improperly on those accounts, and he has some very large retirement accounts, let's aggravate him the way he's trying to aggravate you and make him do the research and show statements from every month, from the date of your marriage to the date of the filing for the divorce. You need to see whatever he deposited into those accounts and where the money came from. It's very possible some of it came from your joint swab account, and then he's up Shites Creek. Why shouldn't he have to do this? It's what I mentioned to Kristen in court yesterday, and she nodded her head. Excuse me. She nodded her head. Now she needs to do something about it. It just seems ridiculous for him to be able to depo you, but for you and Kristen not to give him the same crap he's pulling on you. It's time to give it to him. Also, what can your attorney do to be proactive to give him some grief? It seems like you're always on the defensive, but I don't see her doing anything offensive. I was really surprised that you didn't speak with her prior to meeting her in court. Can't you meet with her and work out a plan of attack or some sort of strategizing so you know what you're up against and what else you can do? When is there an end to the nonsensical litigation and waste of the court's time and your financial obligation to your attorney? I think it's really important to get the parenting coordinator to either testify or be brought to deposition, perhaps by your attorney, so we can get her to request that Elvis be court-ordered for psychological testing. And if he's this off, perhaps he should not be permitted to take the children out of the country because his parents lived in Canada. What happened with the dean? Any help, or do you need to proceed to the provost? Something has to be done with that a-hole. This a-hole. Call us if you feel up to it tonight. If you're too tired, then call us in the morning after you leave the boys at school, if you can. Love you, Mom and Dad. Now, she's got to sign the letter from the both of them, too. It's very important. Very important. Okay, hang on one second. Here's another one. This one is from June 27th, 2013. It's prior to the one we just read. The other one was from 2014. Dear Wendy, this is Donna again. Since neither one of us feels up to talking, let me share with you what we're all feeling as far as your response. When I wrote to you this morning, we felt that we had reasonable thoughts as to what the judge might do or say or think regarding the charade we had hoped you would participate in. Charades. Same person that like charades, plans a murder. That's okay. Conspiracy. However, the more we think about it, we begin to realize that you and we have no idea what this judge will do or say or think. Who would have thought after paying an attorney $600 per hour for 10 months, she would take an hour and a half of testimony, not even bother calling gibbers to the stand, and decide that family support for very young children evidently means nothing. And a job that pays 10 times what your unsecured, untenured, and dependent upon state budget cuts job pays in Tallahassee will be just fine for your children. Does she care that after expenses, you'll save next to nothing at the end of a year? Does she care that very little, if anything, will be put away for the children for their current and future education? Does she care that extra curricular activities, sports, trips, eating out in restaurants will always be a financial challenge for you to provide for the boys? Clearly, she didn't take into consideration the future earning potential and benefit for your children. She didn't care that there is no backup support system when one of your preschoolers is sick. All she cared about was if their father hasn't been pulling out their toenails. You should give up any financial betterment for you and your children and raise them in a place that you agreed to go because gibbers only had FSU as a job offer. Of course, as a graduate of FSU Law School and a native of Tallahassee, she sees nothing wrong with living there. Obviously, as a native of South Florida, you know better. Our point is, it's obvious that you and Kristen haven't figured out the judge so far. You were both shocked at the rapid decision based on nothing that was presented. So, how do you think at this point you can figure out what the judge will say regarding your decision to introduce Christianity into the boys' lives? People go to prison and change their religion all the time. Oh, I wonder if Donna's going to do that when she goes to prison. I don't know. People go through difficult times and find Jesus. Jesus was Jewish. He had positive teachings. He gives people hope, and best of all, you get to go to heaven in the end. Sounds good to me. Obviously, it will sound good to Judge Hobbs. She goes to church. There were multiple donations from her church pastors and ministers on her financial contributions website. She's a Southern black lady. How do you know it won't be music to her ears to hear this? Some possible options on Judge Hobbs' decision regarding Jewish holidays with the boys. As far as losing the children on the Jewish holidays, there are a couple of alternatives to this. First of all, it may happen, but unlikely, he is entitled to half the holidays and alternating those holidays each year with you. You may be interested in the teachings of Jesus because Jibbers had certainly ruined Judaism for you in the extreme way he practices it. So she's saying because he's Orthodox and he has certain customs and things that he wants that she doesn't want because she's, not that Orthodox, not that conservative in her Judaism, that he's ruined it for her. So that's going to be why she is going to convert. Right? However, if the judge questions how much of the Jewish holidays you can have, you explain that your parents and brother are Jewish. And they will be coming to Tallahassee to spend those holidays, or the half that you're entitled to, or perhaps even the 60% that you're entitled to with the boys. Secondly, so what if by some crazy stance the judge says, okay, Jibbers can have all the Jewish holidays. Then, if our bribe doesn't work, you tell him during the school year that you'll take the kids out of Sunday school at church and cancel their upcoming baptism if he shares those dates with you. If not, keep them there. Third, since there is a separation of church and state, she'll just go by whatever schedule you are given and tell you to work out any holiday arrangements between yourselves. Who declares which are legitimate holidays and which aren't? Shmini Azaret? Obviously, the court isn't out to help you. It's clear since Judge Hobbs' last ruling that she could care less about anything you had to say in your behalf. You need to help yourself. Wendy, most of the wars that have been fought for the last couple of thousands of years have been over religion. Charlie brought up a good point when he said that. Americans were dropped behind enemy lines during World War II wearing Nazi uniforms to get what they wanted. They had a job to get done, and they did what they needed to do to accomplish it. You have a job to get done in a very short time frame to accomplish it. If you dressed your kids up in Hitler Youth uniforms and brought them down here, I could care less if it was an act of defiance and would show Jibbers that he's not in control. If your children are baptized, it doesn't make them Christian. Ben and Lincoln aren't really pirates because they dress up like Jake the Pirate. It's an act. You got into this mess with Jibbers by being so compliant with and non-confrontational with him. If you just keep paying your attorney her $600 per hour and you don't fight for what you want, you're no better off than if you stayed married to him.
Debbie 2 Scooter Chic.
Uh-oh. What happened? Hold on. Why is Debbie calling me? Guys, is there something wrong? Can you guys hear me? Let me see. Why is Debbie calling? Is Debbie saying something's wrong with it? Hold on. Want. You're no better off than if you stayed married to him. Why is Debbie calling me? Does anybody know why Debbie's calling me? Is something wrong with the video? Is Debbie 2 Scooter Chick in here? Hi, Lisa. I don't know if something's wrong with the... is anything wrong with the feed or anything? Can we get a... Summer Wells was found? Get out of here. Get out of here. Where? Call into Zoom. Come on, just call into Zoom. Oh, I have to give you the number. Hold on, because I can't do this through text. I can't do this through... I'm giving you the number, Scooter. You're going to have to call in and tell us. I'm giving you the number. Hold on. Hang on for a moment. Hold on. I'm trying to get you the number. I just gave it to you. Call in. It's in your messenger. I want to see if this is really... Summer Wells was found. Hold on. Is she punking us? I'm not seeing that, Scooter. Where is this? Is she punking us? I just did. I don't see it. Hi, Rosalita. I don't see it. Hi, I see you. You see me. Scooter, call in here. I don't see it. You just looked at... Where, Gail? I just put it into Google. And I'm getting stuff from 6 days ago. Okay, I'm going to show you. What's coming up for me, and it's not that she's found. Summer Wells found, I put? No. TBI, it's going to be that releases the latest age progression photo. The case has not been forgotten. Her father speaks out. I don't see where she's been found. I'm not getting anything. I'm not getting anything. I didn't say punching. I said punking. And Scooter would punk me. Okay. She has a big sense of humor. I don't see anything. But where, Gail? Not on mainstream. Where? What's going on? Because I don't see it. I don't think there's anything, Scooter. And now I think we lost like half of our people going to go look for it. I don't see it at all. Are you watching one of these Looney Tunes? Should we continue with Donna Adelson? Can we continue with Donna Adelson? I don't see anything on Summer Wells. Can we continue, please? There's nothing, Scooter. It's probably some Yahoo on YouTube that you're listening to. Yeah, it's not. She probably saw some... Linda thought the same kind of thing when we were on vacation and she was listening to somebody on YouTube. Okay, let's continue. All right. Let's hope our people come back in here. Come back in, people. False alarm. False alarm. All right. Back to Wendy Adelson. So she said, by paying your attorney $600 per hour and don't fight for what you want, you're no better off than if you stayed married to him. Sure, you got rid of being unhappy in a marriage, so you don't have to live under the same roof. But he'll still be in control of everything, including what he wanted, sole control of the boys' religious lives. Why let him? Why not stand up to this effer? And she wrote the whole word out. Why not fight? But she wrote that wrong. Why not fight should have had a question mark. She just put an exclamation. We're not talking about a lifetime of this. You have the boys a very limited number of days before the mediation takes place. This is all part of an act, underlined. Please rethink this. We are all willing to help you accomplish this, and that's all it is. Wendy, an act of defiance that will put a scare into this jackass. It will infuriate him. It won't infuriate a judge that you found Jesus. She can't comment on your religious views. You need to see the big picture. You need to look into the future. What a life without your only family nearby. Teaching in Tallahassee with Danny always in the picture will give you. It's not a pretty picture. She's so down on him being a professor. So down. We want to see you help yourself. Not everything one has to do in life is comfortable or easy. Sometimes it's ridiculously hard. But Jibbers has tried to aggravate and screw you since day one of this divorce. His vicious emails, his defiance with Dr. Pam's directions on asking him not to come to the school every day when he doesn't have to pick the boys up. When he doesn't have the boys, he's not allowing you to pick the children up 1 hour earlier to drive to Atlanta. His bad-mouthing you to the faculty at the school you will be working at. Everything he does is done with malicious intent. Why can't you do this for the few days that you will have the boys prior to the mediation? You know him. You know which buttons to push. He certainly knows how to push your buttons. Take something from him. Right now, he's got everything just the way he wants. We need to take something from him for him to negotiate it back. This is your Chet. The extremism that Jibbers is already teaching the boys is nothing more than brainwashing. Religion is brainwashing. It's control of the masses. It affects who your friends are, what activities you do, how you eat, how you dress, how you pray, everything. There is no doubt you will have 2 little Orthodox young men on your hands with the only religious influence over them being Jibbers. He's already got them thinking that people who eat shrimp are bad. Hot dogs are disgusting. Lobster is gross. Wait, Ben's not even 4 years old. Wait till he's 8. You're not teaching them anything different. You don't teach them that on Saturdays they can go to soccer or any regular organized sports activity or even swim lessons. You let them play in the park or in the house. Jibbers has an organized plan that he's been doing pretty much since they were born. Shul, 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 every Saturday morning. Then he has them. Shul for every Sunday that he has them. Shul for every holiday. Shul parties. Shul, shul, shul. That will be their life. We don't want you to be the outsider who doesn't join in what the rest of the family is doing. Wendy, this is all about negotiating. After consulting with 2 attorneys who are both excellent negotiators, one of whom we will most likely hire for the financial offer, that's that bribe they want to give him, right? We are getting the same advice. You must take something from him that he wants. When you intelligently negotiate in mediation, you pretend You want the house even if you don't. You pretend you want the car even if you don't. You pretend you want the ring even if you don't care. You pretend you want the kids in Catholic school even if you don't. It's the business of clever negotiation. It's not what you or we are familiar with, but people in business do it all the time. Both attorneys have said that this is how you get what you want. If you can't take anything from him, it's just not as good. And then look at it this way. What's the downside? Worst case scenario is the judge does give him the Jewish holidays. Then after a short period of time, you offer him taking the kids out of Catholic school, Sunday school, if he shares the holidays. Or have a stipulation that holidays need to be reviewed yearly. You have a smart lawyer. She knows that all kinds of stipulations are temporary, arrangements that can be made at a divorce. Wendy, you don't manipulate people. You're a sweet, kind, caring person. Gibbers is a manipulator. You just need to play a role. What you're doing is jockeying for a position. In the end, if you do this, and it doesn't get the results we're all hoping for, then you can't blame yourself. You can feel good that you did everything you could. I'm not saying that we're not going to continue with hiring an attorney to negotiate and make a financial offer. I don't think you realize the type of offer we're considering. We're planning on you, Charlie, and Dad and I going as high as equal parts in a $1 million offer. That's $333K from all of us. Each of us, Obviously, the more chits on our side, the better our chances are that we won't have to go that high. You have to show us what you're doing, that you're doing your part of this too. We're a team. We can't do this without your help. One of the possibilities, in lieu of that much money, obviously we start much lower. If offering not just taking them out of church, but negotiating a settlement which could possibly offer both boys private education at the Donna Hebrew Day School in Boca, it may include monthly airline tickets to South Florida for as long as he lives in Tallahassee. He may stop and think that if he can get a job in a city he'd prefer to live in, it would be an easy flight to see his children. He loves living in South Florida, teaching at his current schedule. And with a big chunk of money, he could live down here and for the 26 weeks per year that he teaches and fly 2 days a week to Tally. He would have frequent and liberal visitation. You're not looking to remove him from their lives. He needs to understand that. The negotiating lawyer will work with him. With his school teaching schedule, he could see his children here a significant amount of time. His child support would be much less also. The attorney who will be doing the negotiation will also lay it on the line for him what the various payment offers would be worth to him in 15 to 18 years when he may want to retire. The amount is huge. The payoff can put him at the point without any additional income of his own in the $4 million range. Certainly nothing he'd ever save in 10 lifetimes. If you try this, you really will not be any worse off if you do nothing. So what's preventing you from just trying? I don't know how much of the big picture you're seeing, honey. I don't know if you realize that not only what you can provide for your boy's life, but for your own life, all depends on this change. Aside from living in a far better city with family, a personal history there, and you'll also have a greater opportunity to meet people for your future. I'm sure there are many lovely women who are teachers, divorced, with 2 children. You can be a highly successful, highly compensated attorney who is independent and not in need of somebody to marry you to help support your children. You can have someone cleaning your home, a nanny to help you with the children. A lifestyle is in which you and your boys can travel. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to really turn your life around and make a positive difference in the lives of your children. Your expenses with the boys now are minimal. Wait until you see how expensive everything is in the future for them. We don't want you and wouldn't imagine you'll want to live paycheck to paycheck. Teenagers eat more than the yogurt these boys eat now. Everyone has a price. Now is the time to start. You said this divorce is not about winning and losing. And it's not a competition. You've already lost relocation according to the legal system. Well, it is about winning and losing. We're trying to get a win. You deserve it. You deserve so much more than a life without family teaching in Tallahassee. Life is tough. If you don't stand up and take a chance, you don't stand a chance. Please, Wendy, do your part and stand up to him. Make an effort to do so that our group offer will stand a better chance at being accepted. Don't let his temporary move to Tallahassee ruin your entire life. We all want the same thing, a better emotional and financial life for you and for the boys, all the way around. You know Grandma was one tough and very smart lady. I think about her all the time, and I think about what advice this very intelligent woman, a wonderful reader of people who loved you more than words, could ever express, would say to you. She'd tell you to fight with every bone in your body. Fight for yourself, your boys, and for the best possible life you can have. You know that's true. Fight for yourself, Wendy. We'll be there to help you. Just don't tell us what you need to do now is move forward with a sense of peace. That's giving up. I don't believe that's really what you want to do after all we've been through together, and when you've literally a few weeks from this all being over. Written with hope and love, Mom and Dad. Wow, that's an incredible email. That was, I think, 10 pages long. Unbelievable. Okay, and I think there's one more that was relevant here. Oh, maybe more. Let me see. Is that the one I just read? No, this is a different one. Okay, this one was June 25th, 2013. Hi, honey. Okay, just like it says on your necklace, never, never, never give up. It's time for action. It's time to take control of your life and not let Gibbers think he's just won anything by having you remain in Tallahassee 8 hours away from the only family you have and lose out on what will be a job that will afford you and the children advantages that they will never otherwise be able to enjoy. Let's show this effer what will make him absolutely miserable. You know his weak points: money, religion, control. You have 5 weeks before your court date. I know you have a job that keeps you very busy. However, the rest of your life, and consequently Dad, mine, and yes, even Charlie's, will be affected by how well you can act before July 31st. You can be a good actress when you want to. I've seen you in action. You need to put on the performance of your life. Gibbers hasn't beaten the Adelson family yet. You have a very strong family behind you. Just remember that. Dad and I have done nothing. Hold on a minute. Dad and I have done everything we could to try to help you for the last 10 months. Now it's your time to help yourself. We believe that you will be able to make this happen. If you can put those actions before everything else this next month, and you know you've only got the kids a limited number of days to do this, we believe that Gibbers will be saying, stop this, and you'll be telling them, you wanted me in Tallahassee. My children are going to fit in this Bible Belt. They're going to church every time I have them. I'm having them privately tutored at home to get them caught up for the Sunday school classes that I've registered them in for the fall. And this class time coincides with the service I'll be attending. Tell him that you've got a new outlook on life and a new hope, and you'd like to go to heaven. Perhaps he would like to join you and the boys at church. And she says, plan of action. She puts this out like a whole little report. 1. Take a photo of the boys dressed nicely, standing at the front door or by the sign of a Tallahassee church, and then change your Facebook status photo to this one so everyone will see this. Wow, she's something. She'd probably could get a drama channel on YouTube. Perhaps a line under the photo with new beginnings in Tallahassee might be nice. Within minutes, Jibbers should either see this or he'll be getting calls from his friends and acquaintances about this. How happy do you think he will be? 2. Make arrangements to get the boys caught up with a private tutor, teenage Catholic church member, who will come to the house to teach the young men about Jesus. If you don't have time to arrange for this to happen, I will happily do it. For you. She or he will serve as a good babysitter assistant for you while you're preparing dinner, etc. 3. Let Jibbers know that your children will be baptized in the Catholic Church, and you'll certainly invite him to the event. Let him know that the Catholic Church is a big part of your life now with the boys, and you'd like him to be part of it. As long as he wants you to remain in Tallahassee, the boys will be involved with you in the church-related activities and ceremonies. Let him get used to it. I've already checked this out, and a baptism can be arranged within 2 weeks. We can send out evites to Jibbers, his parents, sister, and anyone else he wants to invite. 4. I'm looking into summer camp programs for the boys. We will pay for it, even if the boys end up going only the few days that they're in Tallahassee on the days you have them prior to the hearing. 5. Register them for toddler classes at church. I've looked into this, and even if they don't go, we can show Jibbers that they are enrolled for the fall semester. And you cannot tell anyone this is an act. Somehow it will get back to Jibbers. Take control from him. Get to him psychologically. He's going to want you to stop this. Wendy, you've been through a very difficult year. You had to make a huge decision. You did that. It was the right decision. Now you have one final opportunity to make him angry. We want him ticked off so he realizes that he could lose control over his kids. We plan to make a financial offer to him to allow this relocation. You need to work this plan, and we'll help you through it so that it may affect how much we may offer him. Maybe he'd be willing to let you relocate if he knew his children would attend a private Hebrew academy like Donna Klein in Boca, or perhaps he'd like them to invite him to a Christmas party at their other Sunday school. You have a little over 3 weeks till mediation. Let's get going. Let's get this going now. I know you would never want to think that you didn't do absolutely everything you could do to come down to your family. Between living down here and having a job that will give your children the lifestyle they deserve, your life now and for sure in the future will be significantly better. Gary told us that he's not going to hire anyone until after your court hearing and after we try to make a financial offer to Jibbers. We don't want Danny to continue his religious influence over the children any more than what he's already done. If he keeps this up, and they won't want to eat in your non-kosher home, and if they see you don't want to attend their shul functions, you will be the outsider. They will get older and more involved under Gibber's religious influence, and they will be able to request which parent they want to live with. Don't allow Gibbers to have the power and control over them. Then, in reality, he's going to have the same control over you. Dad and I have changed our lives this year to support and assist you and the boys in every possible way. Charlie has accepted the loss in the office business income for us to do this because he loves you and he wants only the best possible future for you. It's time for you to show us that you can put on the performance of your life for the next few weeks. Please call us after you read this. We're waiting to talk to you. If you have any other ideas to make a last chance for relocation happen, please let us know. We send this letter with our love and only the best intentions, Mom and Dad. Crazy, right? Let me see. I think there's one more here. This is May 3rd, 2013. This is the earliest one. Dear Wendy, okay, just saw this email this morning. Obviously, his 23-page rant was insufficient, so he's trying to push the court to deny hearing your petition. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if to prevent any action your attorney must respond or not. Only you and she know that. However, Gibbers has made his divorce a full-time job to attempt to get what he's always gotten his way. His job allows for lots of time for him to put into this project, and you know as well as I do that all the research he's done on different cases, on different case law to prove his point in his research, not his attorney's. No matter who did it, he's quoting 13 cases to show why the court should basically throw out your petition. Is Kristen answering this? Does it require an answer to make sure that it is not seen by the court as ignoring his rights? I don't know. You need to find out. The most important part of your divorce is relocation. I sincerely hope your attorney understands that this is non-negotiable. Lots of things are negotiable. That's the one thing you cannot let her think, okay, well, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. She needs to hear from you how serious you are about this and how it will benefit the children with a close-knit family support system, as well as your significantly better paying job with hours much more flexible than your current job so that you can spend significantly more time with the children, which requires teaching hours, office hours, court appearances, meetings, and med school people, and multiple trips away from the home. These trips need to be coordinated with a very angry man who will not be cooperative with you in this regard. For example, this past weekend you had your annual conference for blank. At the same time his regular NYU crap was taking place. He didn't say, I go to NYU every month and this is your annual meeting. I'll stay with the children and you go. Of course not. Danny thinks he's a very important person, and as always, he and his needs come first. So without your parents as backup, one of you would have to have stayed home with your children. Your attorney needs to understand that your mother worked full-time in the family dental practice until September, when she felt she was needed by you for the well-being of the children, to get them through a transitional time with people who love them and see them frequently, with whom they share great affection. Your father has made numerous trips by plane for weekends and changing the patient schedules around so that he can continue to spend significant time with the children. Both the disappearance of your mother from the position of office manager and the disappearance of your father from the practice for a significant amount of time has caused a decrease in the practice income, and the loss of some patients who feel that it's either not being run the same way when my mother was there full-time, or that my father is unable to see patients with problems and has referred them to other offices during his absences. Additionally, the loss of income affects my family because my older brother, also a dentist, purchased the practice from my mother and father in mid-July of 2012. He has a monthly payment to make to my father based on the sale of the practice. It isn't fair to him to have decreasing monthly income statements from the practice due to my parents spending so much time here in Tallahassee. My brother is unmarried and is a wonderful uncle to Benjamin and Lincoln. If I am able to relocate to South Florida, then they will have an incredibly warm and loving family as an integral part of their lives, not an occasional 2-day weekend trip to visit. And she puts response. This is a no-fault divorce state, so his nonsense about no marital infidelity or abuse doesn't matter. However, a hot temper and verbal abuse is what you need to emphasize that you suffered under his reign. Narcissistic personality disorder causes many problems in a marriage, especially when one believes that because he attended Harvard undergrad and Harvard Law, he's clearly better and smarter than anyone else, including you. Only an idiot like him would write that he should be the only one consulted for making decisions regarding the health, education, and religion of his children. Clearly, no one, including you, is as smart as he is in those regards. The money you moved into an account for you was exactly half to the penny of the joint account, which is marital assets. The furniture you took was the bare minimum: a bed for you to sleep on from the guest bedroom, one nightstand, and your dresser. You took 2 chairs that you bought 5 years ago at a neighborhood furniture store's closeout sale for $50 each. You have receipts to show all the new furniture you purchased to relocate to a safe place. You absolutely must emphasize that the only reason you left when he was out of town is because of the threat. You'll leave without your children, without a penny, and just with the clothes on your back. It's super important for the judge to get the message that this guy is a big bully. I know she'll be able to read that when you submit copies of some of the emails he sent you. He feels if he said something, that's it. Well, that's not it. He says you did this while he was on a short business trip. How about how many trips to conferences, etc. this man has taken? How much time away from family? You have all those documented. Now you need to sit down and figure out how many days away that's been. How about adding that up? All his 2-week trips to Israel, especially when you were at the end of your pregnancy. Sweet, caring, concerned husband. He talks about not knowing where his children were, incorrect address for the first 6 weeks. Let the court know that although he was never particularly interested in the children prior to the divorce, he was advised to keep a diary and make sure that he shows his interest now. You arranged to meet him the very next day with Alan and Lynn Grossman, mutual friends, and the children at a local yogurt shop, so he could see the children were fine. You were in fear of his temper, and so you did not want to reveal your address. However, 4 days into the separation, you arranged to bring the children to his house as his parents were going to be in town, and they were there for the Rosh Hashanah holiday with them. That following week, on one of his uninvited treks to your office, after he threatened you with federal kidnapping charges, which of course now he recants like he does anything, he just can't actually believe he actually did. You gave him your address. That was 1 week after separation, not 6. He says you took non-marital assets. What? He says the children were 3 and 1 at the time this took place. Ben was 3 and Lincoln was 23 months. 1 month before his 2nd birthday. He talks about you being both well-paid professors with stable jobs. Yours is not a tenure-track job. And with the economy as it is, there is no guarantee it will be there in the future. His trash talking to various faculty members about your mental instability has also poisoned your work environment, making it extremely difficult for you to continue to function there in the same way as you previously did. Your job also pays you half of what his job pays. So on your own, it's not feasible not feasible, Scooter, to continue to live, even in the home you are currently renting. You have borrowed a considerable amount of money from your parents, and you must repay it. For furniture, legal fees, moving expenses, etc. My parents have paid all grocery bills up to this point, for which I will have to reimburse them. I do not want to dip into the money from our marital account, as that will have to go towards supporting my children and for their future. According to Jibbers, the relocation must show that the current arrangement for the children is deficient from the perspective of the children, and that the relocation would advance their interests. This is something that we have reviewed numerous times in other papers, Wendy. Review all that we put together in this regard, rather than have me repeat it. Obviously, the number one reason is significantly more income for you in a job that will give you significantly more time with the children. For children at this tender age, nothing is more important than spending quality time with them, which your current job does not permit. The financial freedom which will accompany this job will allow you to provide educational and outside activities and lessons for the boys that would not be affordable under your current salary. 2, the ability for our children to spend quality time with my parents and my mother, a retired elementary school teacher, would be a huge bonus to our children's academic and social progress. Imagine the people that had her as a teacher, right? Who'd you have for second? Donna Adelson. Yeah. In my parents' home, each child currently has and would continue to have their own rooms with their appropriate beds, furniture, books, and toys. Mr. Markel has become a religious zealot over the last few years. Since the birth of our first son, taking him to the synagogue with him as an infant so that he can absorb the music and the prayers. He has done the same with our second son. This is only to show the congregation what an attentive father he is. The fact remains that children are watched by teenage children of other congregants in a sort of playroom. While the services are going on, Mr. Markel picks one of them up to come back out at certain parts of the service to hear particular hymns, and then he returns them to the care of babysitters. This is done rather than allowing them to remain home with me. When I protested, he insisted. He always gets his way. There are no Hebrew schools in Tallahassee. Mr. Markel seems intent upon religious training, but feels that only he could provide the best religious training for our children. He is indoctrinating them, not teaching them. If he truly cared about religious school for them, then clearly one of the 37 Hebrew schools in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County would be a better choice for our boys. My home in Broward County is close to many of these schools and midway between Dade and Palm Beach schools. I hope your attorney is researching cases when relocation was granted and what circumstances were. Also, all cases are different, and because one case didn't allow it doesn't mean that should prevent another case from receiving that benefit. Danny has said on numerous occasions, one, I have my phone as a saved message, was what wonderful grandparents and in-laws we've been. He knows that the children are very close to us and we'd always be there to take care of them. What's going to happen in June when he wants to go to 3 different conferences? Don't let him go. If you do, you're enabling and facilitating your stay in Tallahassee. You'll be showing him anytime he has a meeting and he wants to go. That's fine. You'll watch the boys. That's the whole point of relocation. For you and the children, he can continue to attend all the meetings he wants to go to, and then arrange for frequent and extended visitation with the boys. Maybe some of the money he spends on the trips can be used to visit the boys. Another bribe to get him to allow relocation should be to offer plane tickets, since he does have family that would allow him to use their homes to stay in. But obviously, that's a last-ditch effort if all else fails. He's trying to show the court that your request is frivolous and that you should have to pay for yours and his court cost in this plea. Your lawyer has to let the court know that it's anything but frivolous. And isn't he also supposed to pay some of your regular legal fees? That bastard has not paid 1 cent towards your bridge gap alimony. Why? Why only 2 months of a child support payment over an 8-month time frame? Loving, caring father that he is. Do you need info on grocery bills? I have a good many of them and can show the court what it's been costing just for that with no support from Jibbers. Also find out from Kristen if she wants you to pay us back now or wait. What's best for your case? I'm too angry to write anymore. Oh boy, she wrote 5 pages. I'm going to shower, wash my hair, and get ready for you and the boys to come home. Dad said he'd look up any papers tonight or over the weekend that you may need. He even has the info on what Danny had in his IRA and 401k prior to marriage. Love you, Mom. Okay, that's it. Let me see where you guys are, though. Here. Okay. So what's going on now? One A Viper. Okay, so what happened? So, Scooter, I want to. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, anyway, we're going to finish with Donna. So, Donna wrote all these emails. Donna like has a plan. She's a manipulator. She's telling Wendy, you're a good actress and this is going to be an acted part. Hold on. I'm just going to get a glass of water, but just let me, I don't know. I'm still, there's Debbie Two Scooter. Okay. Oh boy, Debbie, you're going to get me in a lot of trouble. Okay. Hold on, we're going to go on Donna Adelson. Okay, I just need a glass of water. Water my plants tomorrow morning in the other room. Okay, and the ones outside maybe. Let's see if it rains. I don't know. Okay, so let's go on to what else Donna Adelson has done in this craziness. And then they had, so it ends up that they're going through these emails for 2013, 2014, and she desperately wants Wendy to move to South Florida. So what's she going to do, right? What is she going to do to get Wendy to South Florida? So let's go. I want to look at the timeline. So July of 2014, July 18th, between 9 a.m. and 9:30, Dan Markel, this again is 2014. Dan Markel dropped his boys off at the Creative Play School on Tharp Street near Mission Road. At 11 a.m. around, he is shot in the garage of his Benton Hills home. 11 a.m. Markel's neighbor hears a loud bang and calls 911. 11:06, the Leon County Emergency Medical Services is dispatched. 11:07, the Tallahassee Police Department is dispatched. At 11:15, the Tallahassee Police Department arrives on scene. 11:19, EMS arrives on scene 19 minutes after the 911 call. Due to misprioritizing of the call and initially sending first responders to the wrong address. Unbelievable. So the ambulance did not arrive until 11:26, which was literally 26 minutes after being shot. 11:31, the ambulance arrives at Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare. July 19th. In the early morning hours, Markel dies at Tallahassee Medical and whatever, it's TMH. Friends and colleagues began to post tributes on various sites, including the Washington Post and various legal blogs. July 20th. His congregation hosts a memorial service in Markel's honor. July 21st, police say Markel was the intended victim of the shooting, and a tip line was dedicated for the investigation. July 22nd, police release information that Markel's cause of death is a fatal gunshot wound to the head. The 23rd of July, police release a photo of a silver Prius-like car seen in the area on the day of the crime. The Tallahassee Police Department stresses the car is only a vehicle of interest. July 24th, Markel is buried in his hometown of Toronto. July 25th, police say Markel was shot in his garage with his keys still in his black 2008 Honda Accord. August 15th, the CDA board members order an audit of the dispatch center in response to the errors in Markel's case and a series of other problems. September 17th, colleagues hold a remembrance for Markel at the Florida State University College of Law. February 25th of 2015, the grand jurors release a pre-sentiment criticizing the Consolidated Dispatch Agency, saying that a human error on the part of the dispatcher led to a delay in ambulances arriving at Markel's house. July 17th, police give information on the Prius and announce a new reward of up to $100,000 for information leading to the arrest and the conviction of Markel's killers. This is a year now, okay, after they still don't know who did this. Markel's estate, August 19th, Markel's estate serves notice of intent to file a wrongful death suit against the CDA. And then 2016, still nothing, right? The Tallahassee Police Department releases a heavily redacted supplement report on the case. And then May 25th, Sigfrido Garcia, 34, is arrested. So almost 2 years after. In Broward County and charged with first-degree murder. That's when Sigfrido was. Now, Sigfrido is the baby daddy. Now, who killed him? Who's Sigfrido? He's the baby daddy of Charlie's girlfriend, Katie Magbanua, right? Magbanua, or everybody says it differently. And then we find out also Luis Rivera. Now, Luis Rivera is the one that turned state's witness, and he's the one that got the shortest sentence so far, right? So let's go back here. Okay. So Sigfrido Garcia was arrested at a gas station in Hallandale Beach, Florida, by the Hallandale Beach Police. He was apprehended in connection with the murder of Dan Markel. Let's see what Sigfrido. This is Katie Magbanua's baby daddy. Okay, so there he is there. He was the first arrest made. Sigfredo Garcia and Catherine or Katie Magbanua will be tried together after prosecutors succeeded in getting their murder conspiracy to commit murder and solicitation to commit murder cases joined. Now, statements made after the murder was committed and the $100,000 that Tallahassee investigators say they were paid to commit the crime may not be allowed to be presented during their trial. This is something from their trial. In July of 2014, Markel was shot in the head while sitting in his car in his Benton Hills garage. Investigators say the murder was a hit paid for by the family of his ex-wife, Wendy Adelson. The family, primarily Adelson's brother and mother, Charlie and Donna Adelson, are suspected of hiring Garcia and another man, Luis Rivera, to drive to Tallahassee from Miami to kill Dan Markel. Tallahassee police say he was targeted by his ex-in-laws who wanted their daughter to have full custody of their two young children. No one in the Adelson family has been charged. Garcia, the suspected gunman, was arrested May 16th near Miami. Magbanua, the mother of his two children, was arrested 5 months later after Rivera cut a deal with prosecutors and told investigators she was the linchpin in the scheme. She is accused of negotiating the payment and delivery of $100,000 for the hit. Magbanua worked at the family's South Florida dentistry practice and dated Charlie Adelson. She is the suspected link between Garcia and the family. And this is Katie Magbanua. Rivera was sentenced to 19 years in prison for his cooperation with investigators, which he is serving concurrently with a 12-year federal prison term for an unrelated crime. There are a series of FBI wiretaps of Garcia and Magbanua that occurred after the crime, as well as statements from the Leon County Jail cellmates of Garcia. Following Wednesday's ruling, much of that may not be allowed to be used by prosecutors in court. Let's see. So now Donna, then Charlie was tried and he was sentenced to life. And now we're up to Donna, right? Okay. So, let's see here. Yeah, crazy stuff going on. So Donna's jury selection starts tomorrow. So we could start seeing opening statements a little later this week. So is everybody ready for the Donna Adelson trial? And they still haven't found that little boy, just in case you need that. Okay, she said, anyway, I will listen for a few minutes as I soak, then bedtime. My dad actually ate today. He asked me to get him shrimp from a favorite family place we've always loved. I couldn't believe it. All these prayers are helping him. Thank you so much. Okay, that's good to hear. Continue prayers. Scooter's dead. So yeah, does anybody think this is going to end for Donna Adelson in anything but a guilty plea? Hello, little lady. Hi, it's just me. Anybody think it's going to end in anything other than guilty? It's kind of ridiculous, isn't it? Or do you think that, I don't know, you think any juror is going to think like, oh, look at this 73-year-old woman, and, I don't know. Anybody want to go over anything else with Donna Adelson? They haven't found that little boy. There are a lot of rumors flying around. They were at the house last night. I know she's guilty. Murder, of course, is in the Emmanuel Haro. They were there at the house. There are rumors that were floating last night that he was going to be found in a dumpster, that the backyard was dug up and stuff. So we don't know. I think something will be happening soon. I do think it's not going to be good. It's very sad, but I don't think so. What else is going on? Then, trying to think. Gypsy Rose, I don't know what's going on. She became an artist, something like beauty blown art or something. She was doing pourings, using a hairdryer. They kind of looked a little bit beachy, and then throwing some gold flake on it or something and charging $120 for them. I don't know what's going on with the girl. She's trying to rebrand herself. She's just all over the place. Just, I don't know, seeing whatever's going to stick. I have no idea what she is doing. Summer Wells was not found. Just putting that out there. Let's see what else is going on in this world here. In this recap. And then, I don't know. I can... there was a bump. Remember the bump? The bump is the FBI sting operation with Donna Adelson, where she was outside and it was the bump. This guy comes and he's like, he wants her to think that Luis Rivera, who was in prison, was saying, hey, you better give me some money or something might happen. And it was all about getting them to say something, because they had somebody following them wearing a wire, and they did catch Charlie and Katie Magmanua saying stuff in a wiretap. And I played that on other videos about this case. If you look in the playlist, you'll see it. Okay, let's see what else is going on. So we're going to hear this all again anyway with trial, right? Just trying to get you a little bit up to speed if you weren't, but most of you are, so there's really not much speed I need to give you. Not that it's speed, but just, Okay. Now, did you hear about the YouTuber that Jimmy had told me this? He was filming himself going down into a whirlpool, and he did it, and then he wanted to do it again. It never came up, and he filmed. It's crazy. How do you film yourself going down the whirlpool? Oh. Okay, let's see what else we have. All right, here's something. What is this? Is this a new case? Let me see. Okay, so we have Wow, this guy looks scary. Come on. See right there. No. Right there. Okay. This Arizona husband is going to spend nearly 20 years in prison after he stabbed his new wife to death following an argument about an annulment, and I believe that occurred in a Home Depot parking lot. Stephen Dennis, 38, was sentenced to 18 years behind bars after pleading guilty to second-degree murder in the death of his 37-year-old wife, Alicia Grant, in Phoenix. The Maricopa County's Attorney's Office said police responded in the early morning hours on September 9th to a Home Depot in North Phoenix. Witnesses say they heard a woman, later identified as Grant, screaming for help. They found her sitting in the driver's seat of a red Toyota Prius, suffering from multiple stab wounds. Dennis was in the passenger seat and exited the car before arguing with a bystander, grabbing a bag and running. As the officers who were first to arrive applied pressure to Grant's wounds, she made a dying declaration to him, declaring Dennis her attacker. Paramedics rushed her to the hospital where doctors pronounced her dead. Not long after the incident, Dennis called 911 to report he stabbed his wife. He also told cops where they could find the murder weapon, which they later recovered. Dennis later said they had been recently married and they were arguing about an annulment at the time of the stabbing. This wasn't just a violent crime. It was an act of betrayal carried out by someone who should have been a source of safety, not fear. County Attorney Rachel Mitchell said in the statement, this is something especially cruel about a murder that takes place within a relationship that's intended to be built on trust. We will continue to aggressively pursue and hold violent domestic abusers accountable. Grant left behind 2 children. His friends remember her for her endlessly hopeful energy. Alicia saw no dream too big. She chased hers with open eyes and a full heart. She was a self-made entrepreneur, cosmetologist, author, and model. Her story is one of perseverance and the power of believing in yourself. Wow. Okay, not good. It reminded me of another case that we covered that one time where this girl was going to work or something and they found her car in the parking lot. And remember, someone got into it. Oh, now I'm going to rack my brain for that case. I don't know which one it is. We also found that Kohberger's, there's a protection order that was issued by Madison Mogen's mother about releasing things, and so that's families are suing over the crime scene photos that were released. I want to talk about that. Okay. All right, let me see this. So there's some other Kohberger news. Let's go through it all here. And let me get a Kohberger graphic so we know we're changing gears, okay? Where the heck? Here's your graphic. All right. So, he received 13 formal complaints from college classmates for his lewd, offensive comments and creepy behavior while he was attending Washington State University, according to a report. He was only days into his first semester at the doctoral criminology program when he received his first complaint, earning him a reputation for being a D. Members of the WSU community said in unsealed documents and interviews. Among the complaints were accusations from several women that Kohberger made sexual comments about them, including asking a deaf classmate if she would be comfortable procreating given the fact she had a disability. Upon starting the fall term in 2022, a staff member told Detective Gary Tolson from the Idaho State Police that Kohberger had received a complaint soon into his first month in the program. The quadruple murder then became a topic of weekly discussion in disciplinary meetings, specifically in regard to his interactions with fellow postgraduate students in and out of the classroom, along with his behavior about some of the criminal justice professors. Though the staff member initially took him as simply socially awkward, she later realized that he often made outspoken, discriminatory comments which were homophobic, ableist, xenophobic, and misogynistic in nature. Toward students and staff, he would also stare at people and stand uncomfortably close or lean over women, making them very uncomfortable. One 19-year-old undergraduate student who worked in criminology department also told police that Kohberger would constantly come into her office to pester her and sometimes physically corner her as she tried to leave work. He once asked her out on a date, but she rejected his advances by telling him she had a girlfriend. He was not deterred by her rejection and continued to pester her, so the undergrad began to get rides home from her boss out of fear of Kohberger. At least one person close to her expressed concern about how many precautions she perceived were being taken because of Kohberger. Another female student in Kohberger's program described him as a misogynist who made her feel deeply uncomfortable. Several documents say that he often spoke down to women and mistreated his female professors by showing up late. The antics prompted a group of classmates to keep a board tracking each of his transgressions. The same students described Kohberger as a narcissist who never displayed empathy towards another person. He wanted to be seen as the strongest, smartest, and most important person in the room. A male graduate student also recalled being verbally kidnapped by Kohberger when he was forced into a 3-hour conversation with him in a parking lot, where the killer told the student he could pick up any woman he wanted in bars and clubs. Several first-year doctoral students in the criminology program were eventually required to take blanket discrimination training because of Kohberger's unhinged behavior. The training took place November 8, 2022, just days before Kohberger killed Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mullion, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle. Weeks before the trial was set to begin, Kohberger accepted a plea deal that allowed him to avoid the death penalty. After his sentencing, Kohberger was transferred from jail to prison, where his fellow inmates have been psychologically tormenting him by yelling into the vents that lead to his cell at all hours of the day. Okay, so let's see now. Where are you guys? Where are you guys? Here you are. You just watched a video of Kohberger in his cell. It was weird. Was it real or was it AI? She had parked in a parking lot to take a shuttle to some big. Her brother reported her missing. I remember the brother now. Yeah. I thought it was a Walmart parking lot. And they had a video of someone getting in the passenger seat. It was weird. And whatever happened to that case? Oh, it was. Okay. Well, I hope it's for real. I saw a little thumbnail of something somewhere. They said something got out or something. But I have seen a lot of AI stuff about him. There's so much AI crap. I can't take it anymore. So much AI stuff. So much AI stuff. All right, what else do we have? They did find a guy. Okay. That's good. Okay, what else? So let's see what else for Dan Markel. Right? Let's see. Oh my goodness. And we know. Oh, Harvey's waving. Let's see. Catherine Magmanua has been transferred to the Wakulla County Jail. I don't know. Sentenced to life. Will the jury know? 4 people? No, they won't. I heard Wendy said she doesn't want to testify, and if she's called, she's just going to plead the 5th. Yeah, that's what I heard. All right, let's see. I don't know. So, to what time is it? Oh my gosh, how is it so late? Oh, I got on really late because, oh boy, I'm tired now. I don't know. I'm going to see, I don't know. I might go chasing waterfalls tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know what we're going to do tomorrow. I'm going to play it by ear, but thank you so much for coming. I hope that you like the member series that's going to be on. I encourage you to join the membership. We do a lot of fun things for members anyway, and it's a great way to support the channel. Let me do the word cookies. Oh, I've got this one here. Hold on, this is one I was doing. Let me see. Yeah, last night I had a Murder of Crows. I had to finish it in the morning because I was so tired. Now I'm starting to feel that way. I'm so tired. If you missed about my waterfall thing, and I'll try to get some stuff on, some videos about it. It's really pretty. Okay. Okay. Okay, we need, oh, goddess. Okay. And we just need one more. What one is it? There, sods. Oh, we got it at the same time, murder. Okay, I'm going to bid you all a good night because I am exhausted and I have to get some sleep, but I love you guys. God bless, prayers. And like I said, think about channel memberships is a great way to support the channel. We appreciate it very much. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow. God willing. Prayers for all that need them. I love you.